redefining what healthy and what success is, and that's why we just chatted up. I love that.
I think that's the hard part is, you grow up, I grew up with a lot of like societal, you grow up swimming in societal expectations. You can't not do that, and parental expectations, and every family is different. And a lot of like growing up as an adult, whether it's in your 20s, 30s, 40s, like you never stop evolving. And at some point it's, like, what do you want? What do I actually want that resonates with me as a person? And not because it's kind of this, I think I want it, or it's like just grew up with it. You don't really know till you get there. It's like, I know my, a daughter. It's like, oh, like when I'm rich someday, I'll be happy and set. And I mean, I believe she will be rich. I'm sure she'll be happier for a time. But again, it's like, just because if you have money anxieties now and you get a lot of money, if you still have money anxiety, it'll just pop up in a new way. Like, okay, now what do I do with all this? Like, oh, I'm wasting it, or like people want it, or there's so many things. There's so many ways to have anxiety about something. But like, what do you really want? Do you really want to have impressive goals to other people? How much is it? Like, do you really want to do this? Maybe. And you never really know till you get there. And like, okay, that worked out great. Or like, I actually didn't know I wanted a big family until I started having a big family. And that wasn't never like a big goal of mine. And then it's like, oh, actually, that was a big goal once I got there. I used to think how having like a New York Times bestselling book, and like, don't really care if it happens or not now.
That's exactly where you want to be.
Yeah. I feel good in my body with the people I know.
Stumbling is just taking over the mic. Stumbling is not knowing the kids was a goal, but you have them, and then you realize it was a goal, and that's kind of stumbling. It's maybe not seeing the next couple feet in front of you and keep on the next step. What?
Yeah, well, that's like, especially with kids, it's like forced. There's this thing around, if you care about someone a lot, and this could be in a relationship or kids, you can't kind of change them. You either have to like force yourself to practice some acceptance and patience, or some other aspect of personal growth. Like, it forces you to change yourself. It forced me to change myself. So it's, especially having a big family, it was like a turbocharged like personal growth accelerator. So by definition, it feels like constant stumbling, making mistakes, again, in kind of like marriage or with kids, recovery from those, learning from those, getting stronger from those. It's almost like this flip. And I felt the flip recently. It's like, think about, I think like Atlas, right? Atlas with the world on their shoulders. You can look at that as, a lot of people, like, especially if you're a CEO parent, it's so easy to feel that kind of trapped, this huge burden, which is there. It's like, well, you can feel that as you're trapped with a huge burden, or it's like, oh, wait a second, has this been training me, right? Like a training opportunity to kind of get stronger and be able to carry that. Okay, all right, I got this. So those kinds of attitude shifts.
David Goggins uses everything as a training. I know you were going to love that. you love my David Goggins references. Okay. Stumble. There was something that we were talking about. Now that we're writing, there's a lot of back and forth that I want to talk about. Oh yeah. So me and Aaron are thinking about our compelling opener. Obviously, we have some options, and it's just which one is the most. Top secret, one of them is when I called Ethan Cohen for a little over a year, and I built a friendship with his secretary, David. And he got his start on like a production assistant. Anyways, without annoying him, I would always just call and say, hey, David, is Ethan around? Knowing that he would give me some, oh, he's skiing, or, oh, and knowing he was probably right there. But after a year and a half, Ethan called me, and this is us having coffee, and it'll be much more compelling. But like, there's been a lot of stumbles in my life that I haven't been in touch with Ethan since, and this is 8 or 9 years. So if you're someone out there that's getting all balled up, it's good to have a target and be laser focused. But just like you say about David Goggins, there's a balance. If I was still wrapped up, or even then, in Ethan Cohen has to be my business partner, or even in a weird way, our podcast evolution, there was no point where we couldn't have just stopped. It was always flowing. And that's how you can keep stumbling and have the stamina to stumble, because you're going to stumble many more years than you think. Maybe not.
Yeah. No, I don't think you can live. I mean, I don't think they ever stop.
But if you enjoy the stumble, jigsaw, knife throwing with your kids, seems dangerous. Yeah. Listen to Aaron Roth.
No, I think it's not so much enjoying the stumble as realizing it happens, because by definition, stumbling doesn't really usually feel good. But then you recover. It's kind of getting like knocked out in the ring, Mm-hmm. You can either stand on the ground and cry, or you kind of stand back up and shake it off and go back in. So,
what if you get and then you get yourself up and you visualize that you are invincible? And then you remember that the next day, just the fact that you got up bloody, you have that memory, and you can harness power from stumbling in your future life.
Yeah. And that stumble might look like, a daughter or child says, "I hate you." It might be a physical stumble. It might be, business,